Miss Collins, you have dragged the defendant to court to prove he is the biological father of your 4-year-old daughter, Samara. You say one day of bliss became a lifetime of hell when Mr. Stone up and disappeared when you revealed to him you were pregnant. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stone, you claim the plaintiff waited 2.5 years to tell you that you are Samara's dad, and you are just one of many men who could be the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Collins, you say you're convinced that Mr. Stone is Samara's father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Me and Mr. Stone met on a dating site. I seen his profile. I thought he was kind of handsome. And obviously he thought I was cute as well because he messaged me back. So we had a few conversations, text messaging here, calling there, until one day we decided that we will meet up. So on the day that we met up, we were drinking, we were talking. So he said, well, why don't you just stay the night? You know, you've been drinking anyway, why don't you just, crash here? So later on that night, one thing led to another and we had sex.
So after meeting him on the dating website, you all finally meet each other in person and have sex that night?
Yes, sir.
Did you use protection?
At first we did, Your Honor. Then afterwards it just went with the flow.
Mr. Stone, is this true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That's how we make babies. So when you met Miss Collins, did you feel like this was gonna turn into a relationship?
We did what we had to do, but I was single, she was single. She wasn't the only person I was with. I wasn't the only person she was with. Just...
Was this the only night you all were intimate?
There were other
I think there was
nights.
another night.
There was another night, but this was the night where we had unprotected sex, yes.
So you having casual sex on and off.
Yes, Your Honor.
At some point you find out you're pregnant.
Yes.
Who do you tell?
I went to a doctor. This was at, I think, the beginning of June. And the doctor told me I was about a month long. So I'm like, okay. So after that, I give Mr. Stone a call. I let him know, I said, hey, I'm pregnant and there's a possibility that you might be the father.
She never said that it was a possibility.
Yes, I did.
She
yes,
did?
I
She
did.
was pregnant.
I told him I was pregnant and it might be a possibility that the baby would be his. And he asked...
Mr. Stone, what do you remember?
I mean, like I said, we only did it a couple times or whatnot. She gave me a call. I pick up the phone, it's her, we're talking. She's like, yeah, so I just want to let you know, I am pregnant. I said, okay, and she said, well, I'll just let you know, I'm pregnant, I kind of asked her to come hang out. I kind of hinted I wanted her to, come hang out, but she said she was pregnant and basically she couldn't hang out, so she never said, oh, this is your child. She never said that.
Mr. Stone, it's your testimony that you said when she called to say she was pregnant, she did not say you could be the father, and you went on about your married life because you thought she would have said to me, and you're the father.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
At what point then does it become clear that to you that you're a possibility?
It was like 2.5 years later. She hasn't been crazy, like throw a brick through my window crazy, but it's like, you can't call me and be like, hey, baby dad. What? What? That's the first thing you say is, hey, baby dad? Like, that's kind of like, it's kind of awkward, you know what I mean? So.
You did not know anything about this baby for 2.5 years?
Correct.
It wasn't that long, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So tell me exactly what happened when you found out you were a possibility. How did you find out?
Oh, man. So she gave me the call. I was in Arizona. She's like, well, the person I thought that was the father of the baby is not. So I'm like, okay. And then she said, the other person that might have been a possibility to be the father also is not.
Other person?
Yes. You remember you had your
So
your
she
big dad,
referred
his
to
boyfriend, and
2 additional people besides you.
besides me.
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
So now that that's been proven, so at first you thought it was your baby dad's. At second, you thought it was the guy that you were messing with. Third, you got me. So process of elimination kind of just shows I'm the last option at this point. Because if you were serious about this and this was, the truth, then why didn't you do this 2.5 years ago? Why are we waiting so long?
I have to ask you again, is he the only other possible father?
Yes, Your Honor, because a few years back, my daughter, she got sick. Come to find out she's hypoglycemic. Now, that does not run on my side of the family. So what I do, I'll give Mr. Stone a phone call, and he says, yes, I do believe that do run in my family.
Your Honor, anybody could have hypoglycemia. I'm not the only person on this earth. I'm sure there's a whole lot of us. I'm the only person in my family that I'm even aware has that particular condition. So it doesn't run in my family. Maybe the other guy runs in his family. I don't know.
I need to know from you, one, what is hypoglycemia? I want that explained. And secondly, is it a genetic issue that's passed from mother to child or father to child?
Okay. So first off, hypoglycemia is simply low blood sugar. It can happen for a variety of reasons. And there's a level at which we just have chosen that below 50 milligrams per deciliter when they take your blood, that's hypoglycemia. Most common cause is from people who are diabetic or hyperglycemic, take medication, it drops their blood sugar too low.
So hypoglycemia is different from hyper.
It is indeed. And you'll hear a lot of people talking about family members who have hypoglycemia that's actually from treating their hyperglycemia. Now, there are genetic cases of transmitting hypoglycemia from the mother or the father. There's a genetic mutation that can cause the pancreas not to produce insulin correctly or to overproduce insulin. If one of the parents had such a mutation, there's a 50-50 chance they could pass it on to the child.
So there is a genetic connection. If he does have it, there's a 50-50 chance that he could pass this to a child he potentially fathered.
Correct.
In the case of Collins versus Stone, when it comes to 4-year-old Simara Shantae, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Stone, you are the father. You are her father.
How you feel now?
Yeah, it kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't expect that one.
You truly believed you were not her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor, I truly believe that. But on the bright side, I'm not upset. I'm a little surprised.
She's 4 now, and she has not had the benefit of being held and loved by her father. Miss Collins, would it be okay if Mr. Stone saw Simara in my chambers so that they can get this father-daughter relationship on track? Would that be okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hudson, you claim the defendant led you to believe you were her son, Ja'Cory's biological father, then dropped a bomb and admitted she slept with someone else.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're in court to prove you are not her son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bridges, you admit to sleeping with another man, but claim that you have no doubt Mr. Hudson is your child's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Hudson, why is it at first you believe that you were Ja'Cory's biological father?
Well, Your Honor, I was led to believe that I was Ja'Cory's father because at the time that we were living together is the time that she became pregnant with the child. We were together for approximately about 5 years, Your Honor.
Okay. So you were there throughout the pregnancy,
Yes,
and you were
ma'am.
taking care of her. You all lived together.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a relationship.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
you thought this baby was yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you at the birth?
Yes, Your Honor. I was at the hospital. I took her to doctor's appointments. I was there. I cut the umbilical cord, Your Honor. I even signed the birth certificate on the day of the birth.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
So you signed the birth certificate because on that day, you truly believed this child was yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you say she dropped a bomb on you.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that. When did that happen?
It happened a little before his first birthday party. I invited her. I invited everyone to come. She didn't even show to his first birthday party that I planned for.
Because I was not going to show because you had your ex-girlfriend there and I did not feel comfortable there being with her. So I had my own birthday party for him.
You threw a birthday party.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Ms. Bridges didn't even come.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the baby come? Did he get to come?
Yes, Your Honor. I had him there myself.
Okay, so you brought him there yourself. Oh, handsome. And so, Mr. Hudson, you say this bomb she dropped. When did she drop this bomb?
We had an argument, and that's when she came and she was telling me how I might not be the father and she had done these things. But I paid no attention to them because I am the father. I'm supposed to be the father. I'm here.
Was cheating on me back then, so that's the reason why I did what I did. So yes, I said he might not be the father, but I know he's the father of Jacory Hudson.
If I
That's the reason
supposedly
why he
cheated-
signed that birth certificate.
You said that's why I did what I did. What did you do?
Cheated on him.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. Was it during the window of conception?
No, it was the time when I went away and I came back and I was on the social network and I seen so much stuff going on between him and this other little female. So I went on by myself and went and just did what I had to do.
You cheated with Mr. Davis, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's also in the courtroom. We will hear from him shortly. Mr. Davis, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Jacory, and I want to ask you, do you believe you're Jacory's biological father?
Yes, I do, for several reasons. Me and Miss Bridges met, we hung out for a couple of months. We ended up having unprotected sex around about 3 times. I didn't know that she was pregnant at all until I looked on Facebook one day, like a year later, and I see a picture of her son. And immediately, I think her son looks like my nephew. About a year after that, she came to me. She's like, oh, well, can you tell me the times that we had sex? And I'm like, okay. So I gave her a ballpark or whatever. And I'm like, why'd you ask me that? She's like, no reason. So, like a month later. Right.
No reason.
And I'm like, why'd you really ask me that? Does it have something to do with your son? And she's like, yeah, well, I think you might be his father, or it's a possibility. Then by the next message, she's flipped her whole standpoint on it. She's like, well, maybe he's not yours. I'm pretty sure that that's Mr. Hudson's son. And, if he's not, will you take a DNA test for me? I'm like, yeah, because I was engaged at the time, and the woman I was engaged to couldn't have kids. So for me to get that kind of news, it was kind of exciting for me.
And so, Ms. Bridges, you did tell him he potentially could be Jacory's father, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you testified earlier that you said you know for sure.
I know for sure it's Mr. Hudson's child. So.
But I mean,
But
if
you
you know
told-
that for sure, then what was the point of coming to me and saying anything at all?
Because, I was just adding up the dates to see how. I was just adding up the dates. He said it was wrong.
Okay, but then
so
you came right back to me.
I came to you.
You
to
came
just-
right back to me, and when I asked you why you asked the second time, you're like, okay, well, it's because I think you might be his father.
Yes, you might
I have,
be.
I have proof of that right here.
I slept with both of y'all at the same time.
What is this, sir?
Those are Facebook messages between her and I. The blue is me, the white is her. She wanted me to take the DNA test. She came to me. I didn't come to her
Will you
like,
do
oh,
a
well, I
DNA
think your
for
son
me?
is
And you
mine.
said, yes, I will.
Yes.
And you said, thank you, because I don't want my son to grow up without a dad.
Yes, Your Honor, I did say that.
And you have 2 men in court today, and you
Yes.
don't know for certain which one is your child's biological father, because you just admitted that you slept with them at the same time.
Yes, but I know for sure he's the father.
Has Mr. Hudson stepped up and tried to take care of Jacory as well?
Not lately, but as he said in his testimony, Your Honor, he did celebrate his first birthday. He did come and get him. He's been to my house. He has been there as well.
Ms. Bridges, has Jacory bonded with either of these men, or you don't want him to do that because you don't know which one is the father?
He bonded with Mr. Hudson more than Mr. Davis. I didn't really want Mr. Davis bond with him like that until we get, results stating that he is the father of Jacory Hudson.
So he's basically been living in limbo without a father in his
Yes,
life
Your Honor.
because of this paternity issue.
Yes.
Mr. Hudson, it's clear Mr. Davis wants to be the father. Are you feeling like, I'm hoping this child is mine?
I want to be his father only because I've had a bond with him and I still love him.
So, Mr. Davis, have you met Jacory? Have you spent time with him?
It's been minimal, but I've spent time with him. The first time I met him, it was like, damn, I'm holding my kid. That was in 2013 that I actually got to meet him. And like I said, immediately when I saw a picture of him when he was first born, I thought he looked like my nephew. And when I took a picture with him and I look at it, I can see the resemblance. And, the past couple of years, it's been kind of hard because we haven't been able to see each other because, they don't want him to build a relationship with someone who may not be his father again. And I understand that, but it does hurt.
In the case of Hudson versus Bridges, when it comes to 3-year-old Ja'Cory Hudson, pertaining to whether his biological father is Mr. Hudson or Mr. Davis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hudson, you are not his father. Mr. Davis, you are not his father.
Oh, no. Neither one of them.
This courtroom is in shock. Yes. This is not what anyone expected today. Mr. Hudson, how do you feel right now?
Hurt. Betrayed.
Mr. Davis, I know this was not the result you wanted either.
I'm glad to know, but your lifestyle is not fair to your child.
Ms. Bridges, as it stands right now, you don't know who your child's father is.
No.
Ms. McGowan, you say after the death of your husband, you were trying to find your way, but ended up finding a man on the internet, had sex with him, and 2 weeks later, you discovered that you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you claim the defendant, Mr. Martin, is without a doubt the biological father of your 8-month-old baby, Caden. Is that correct? Mr. Martin, you say there's no way you're Caden's biological father, and you claim to have a mile-long list of doubts that will clear your name today in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
One main reason is that you believe the man she's currently living with, who will join us shortly, is baby Caden's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. McGowan, so you say he's done nothing for the child?
Nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing?
Nothing at all. When I met him online, he misrepresented himself. He told me he was a good man, he was a good father, he was into church and everything.
Baby Caden is 8 months old?
Yes, ma'am.
Any diapers?
He tricked me over there one time and said he has diapers for the baby, but he didn't have any. No, he didn't have any.
Mr. Martin?
Yes, yes.
You've done nothing for the child?
No, I did nothing.
Why?
Because in fact, first night we had sex. The first day we met each other, we had sex. And the reason why I don't believe this is my child, because she's very promiscuous. And when you have sex with a woman, the first day, that's red flag anyway.
Did you use protection?
No,
No, So if you have sex with a woman on the first day and you don't use protection, you understand that if it's in the window of conception, you might be her child's father, right? No matter how.
Yeah.
No matter how promiscuous she may be.
Well, first of all, far as my sperm count, it stays low because I have sickle cell, and it's hard for me to make a baby anyway. And when as far as the sex thing, when the passion goes, it goes. We got time to be doing all that. When you in the heat of the moment.
Are you suggesting you don't have time to use protection?
I'm clean. I'm clean. I trust that she was clean.
It ain't that much trust in the world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, you can do all that.
Well, Your Honor.
And not do anything for a child you possibly created?
Only reason why, because after the fact we had sex, I went through her phone. When I went through her phone.
Yes, the first night went through my phone.
I went through her phone, and I woke up out of sleep. I said, so a man just came over here the other day and gave you sex and saying in the text.
But you had just met her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I just met her.
And going through my phone.
Wait, the first night you're with her, you have sex, then you looking through her phone. You don't use protection, because you ain't got time for all that.
Crazy.
That's ludicrous. So you presented a calendar that outlines the date you were intimate with Mr. Martin.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's April 2nd.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're intimate with Mr. Martin on the 2nd. The doctor tells you your conception date is estimated at April 3rd. Were you in a relationship with anybody else at that time?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Did you have sex with any other men during the window of conception?
I did a couple of days later, I did.
Couple days later. Okay.
Matter of fact, 3 days.
Listen, this is court. I need you to be honest with me. That's why we're here. It's
Okay.
to get the answers.
Okay.
So a couple days later, you had sex with someone else.
Yes, ma'am.
Would that be a couple days as in April 5th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about April 6th?
Yes. Same person, though. It was the same person.
Mr. Brodie, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
You know, we're here discussing the paternity as it relates to baby Caden.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been testimony by Ms. McGowan that you were in a sexual relationship with her during the window of conception.
Yes,
so you could potentially be Caden's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Question to you.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe you are Caden's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
I do.
You want to be
Yes, ma'am.
this child's father?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain.
Because I've been there, man, Tina and I, Miss McGowan and I have been messing around since February. I just pray that he's mine. I really do. Because when he was born, he looked like me. He was a little light-skinned red baby. He had my cow licks and everything. And I was the first one to see that child in the NIC unit when they took him from his mother when he stopped breathing. I sent her the pictures of him. I was there. When Miss McGowan was going through it, she was borderline just diabetes while she was pregnant with him. I took care of Miss McGowan. I washed her clothes. I fed her. Her feet would swell up. I took care of her. I made sure she was at her appointments. I took care of Miss McGowan.
So did you sign the birth certificate?
No, ma'am, because one thing I say is this. Before I signed that birth certificate, his real father, if I'm not his father, his real father should have the opportunity to put his name on there and have his son in his name. That's what I'm here for. I'm a single father. I have a 7-year-old daughter I've been taking care of since 2009. And when I was told she was pregnant, 41 years old, me, it just blew my mind. And then when I seen him in that NIC unit with those tubes running out of him, that was my baby. He's mine. And I don't understand how a man can walk around here and wonder about the mother instead of what's laying in that basket with them tubes running out of him. He's so worried about Miss McGowan, what she got going on with me. It's not about Miss McGowan and I. It ain't even about him. It's about that little baby right there. It's not about money, following no money. I have no money. But I got all the love, and I can make sure he got a roof over his head and food to eat. Make sure he get his education. That's what I can do.
It has been determined by this court. His biological father is Mr. Martin.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, now I can get my rights. I can spend time with my baby and teach my baby how to be a carpenter.
Mr. Martin,
I just want y'all to bring them.
I just want to tell you this. You've missed 8 months.
Just bring them over, and I got the gas money. We don't need no more talk. Conversation over. But I do thank you for stepping up, buying him all that stuff. And I told her when she came over to the house after that 6 weeks, and I told her, I said, this man done did all this stuff. It got to be his child because ain't no man in his right mind just gonna pick up and just do that. But you did. But you did.
What kind of men do you know?
That's what I want to know.
We see this.
I'm glad they broke the mold.
Hold on. Mr. Martin, let me inform you. Let me inform you of something.
I don't know no man.
I've seen plenty of men step up for a child that could not possibly be their biological child because they recognize that an innocent child needs that. Now, you all trying to outdo one another? No. Instead of competition, work in concert. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.